Hello friends, and welcome once again to a new video. A place where conversations about books slowly turn into conversations about life. Have you ever felt that someone is saying one thing, but something completely different is going on inside them? Have you ever been talking to someone and noticed that they are smiling, but the smile never reaches their eyes? We meet people every single day, at work, at home, with friends, or in crowded places. But the truth is, we don't really see people. We mostly just listen to their words. Patrick King, in his book Read People Like a Book, explains something very clearly. A person can lie with words. They can mislead you with sentences. But their body language and behavior almost always tell the truth. Imagine this. You're talking to someone. They say, "I'm fine." But their shoulders are slouched, their voice is soft, and their eyes keep moving around the room. Now the real question is, do you listen to their words? Or do you listen to their signals? Patrick says that what people say is often just their social mask. But what their body, tone, and timing reveal, that is their real story. He once shared an example. Two friends are sitting in a coffee shop. One of them is talking about a breakup and says, "It doesn't matter to me anymore." But while saying that, his fingers tighten around the coffee cup. His leg starts shaking. And his voice becomes slightly heavy. The words are saying, "No pain." But the body is saying, "I'm hurting." And this is where reading people truly begins. Most of the time, we judge people only at face value. If someone says something, we accept it as truth. But Patrick reminds us, if you really want to understand someone, don't see them like a picture. See them like a movie. Don't jump to conclusions from a single moment. Look for patterns. What is normal for them? What is unusual? Imagine a colleague who is usually quiet, but suddenly becomes very talkative and overly cheerful when the boss enters the room. That's not just nervousness. That's a signal, a need for approval. Patrick explains that people try to hide their fears and needs, but their subconscious always finds a way to reveal them. The first rule is simple. Observe first. Decide later. When you meet someone, don't focus only on what they say. Notice how they sit. Is their body open or closed? Do they maintain eye contact or keep looking away? Do their gestures feel natural, or forced? When a person is comfortable, their body is relaxed. Their hands are open, their shoulders are loose, and their voice flows naturally. But when someone feels uncomfortable, their body shifts into protection mode. Arms cross. Shoulders tense up. They lean back or pull away. Think about it. When you lie to someone, don't you also become slightly stiff? Your voice tightens. Your movements feel awkward. That's not a coincidence. That's human biology. Patrick explains that our brain shows danger and discomfort through the body, even when we try our best to hide it. Let's take a simple example. You give someone a surprise gift. They say, "Wow, thank you." But for a split second, their eyebrows tighten. That tiny moment reveals confusion or disappointment. Micro-expressions are extremely small, but they are incredibly honest. They are raw emotions that escape before the mind can control them. And here's the most interesting part. You send these signals every day, without realizing it. When you try to impress someone. When you feel insecure. When jealousy quietly shows up. Your body speaks first. Words come later. That's why Patrick says, to understand people, don't listen only to their words. Watch their contradictions. If what someone says and what their body shows don't match, trust the body. That's when you begin to read people like a book. And once you learn this, you don't just understand others better. You begin to understand yourself too. Because when you learn to read other people's signals, you start noticing your own. Now think about this for a moment. When you enter a new place, at first everyone seems different, unpredictable, and unfamiliar. But as time passes, something begins to change. You start noticing patterns. One person always dominates conversations. Another person agrees with everything, even when they clearly have their own opinions. Someone else turns every serious moment into a joke. At first, these behaviors may seem random. But Patrick King explains that nothing about human behavior is truly random. Behind every action, there is an inner script quietly running. When you see someone once, you only see their reaction. But when you see them repeatedly, you begin to see their pattern. And pattern is where personality lives. Imagine a colleague who speaks confidently in meetings when the boss is present, but becomes quiet and withdrawn when the boss leaves. This is not simply confidence. This is a need for validation. Or think about a friend who constantly makes jokes, even in serious situations. It may look like humor on the surface. But often, humor is a shield. A way to avoid discomfort. A way to hide vulnerability. Patrick explains that people turn their insecurities into habits. Someone who feels powerless may try to control everything. Someone who fears rejection may become overly polite and agreeable. Someone who feels invisible may try to draw attention constantly. And these patterns reveal emotional needs that words never express directly. People rarely tell you who they are. But they always show you. They show you in how they react to pressure. They show you in how they respond to praise. They show you in how they behave when things don't go their way. These moments expose their true emotional structure. Patrick explains that if you want to understand someone deeply, watch how they behave when they have power, when they are under pressure, and when they receive recognition. Because power reveals ego, pressure reveals emotional strength, and praise reveals insecurity. He once described a manager who always appeared calm and professional. He spoke politely, behaved confidently, and seemed emotionally stable. But one day, a junior employee corrected him in front of others. In that moment, everything changed. His voice became tight. His hand slammed lightly against the table. His posture stiffened. He immediately became defensive. In that single moment, his hidden insecurity became visible. Because when ego is touched, the mask falls away. People can hide their weaknesses during normal situations. But when they are triggered emotionally, their real self appears. Triggers are like windows into the emotional core. Think about someone who is always late. On the surface, it may seem like poor time management. But often, it reflects something deeper. It could be avoidance of responsibility. It could be lack of respect for structure. Or it could be an unconscious desire to stay in control by disrupting expectations. Patrick explains that every behavior serves an emotional purpose. Once you understand this, you stop judging people so quickly. Instead of labeling someone as rude, weak, or arrogant, you begin to see the emotional forces shaping their behavior. And this awareness gives you a different kind of power. Not the power to manipulate, but the power to understand. Because when you understand what someone fears, what they need, and what they protect, you can communicate with clarity and empathy. You stop reacting emotionally. You start responding intelligently. And this changes everything. Your relationships become calmer. Your communication becomes stronger. Your awareness becomes sharper. You begin to see beyond words. And slowly, the invisible becomes visible. Have you ever experienced a moment when someone told you the truth, but something inside you still felt unsettled? Or a moment when someone lied. And even without evidence, you just knew. That quiet feeling is not imagination. It is awareness. Patrick King explains that human beings are constantly sending signals, whether they intend to or not. And the body, unlike words, does not lie easily. When a person speaks the truth, their mind and body move in harmony. Their gestures match their words. Their timing feels natural. Their breathing remains steady. There is no internal conflict. But when a person lies, something changes. Because now, their mind is doing two things at once. It is creating a false story. And at the same time, trying to control the body. This creates tension. Movements become slightly delayed. Gestures feel less natural. The body becomes more cautious. Imagine someone saying, "I'm completely calm." But their fingers are restless. Their breathing is uneven. Their shoulders are tight. Their words are calm. But their nervous system is not. And this is what Patrick calls emotional leakage. The truth leaks out, even when words try to hide it. Sometimes it appears in the eyes. Sometimes in the voice. Sometimes in silence. Even the smallest hesitation can reveal inner conflict. He explains that discomfort often shows itself through self-touching behaviors. A person may adjust their watch repeatedly, touch their face, fix their hair, or rub their hands together. These actions are not random. They are attempts by the nervous system to calm itself. It is the body trying to regulate emotional stress. Think about a job interview. A candidate says, "I am very confident." But they keep adjusting their collar. Their hands feel restless. Their smile appears and disappears quickly. Their words say confidence. Their body reveals anxiety. And the truth exists somewhere between the two. Patrick explains that awareness is not about catching people in lies. It is about seeing emotional reality. Because sometimes people lie not to deceive others, but to protect themselves. To protect their pride. To protect their image. To protect their fear. And when you understand this, you stop looking at lies as attacks. You start seeing them as emotional signals. Signals of insecurity. Signals of fear. Signals of vulnerability. And this understanding creates empathy. But awareness begins with presence. Most people do not notice these signals because they are distracted. They are busy thinking about what to say next. Busy trying to impress. Busy trying to respond. But awareness requires stillness. It requires observation without judgment. When you slow down, you begin to notice the rhythm of people. You notice when their energy shifts. You notice when their voice changes. You notice when their body withdraws. And slowly, people begin to reveal themselves, without saying a word. And something even more important begins to happen. You begin to notice yourself. You notice when you feel defensive. You notice when you feel insecure. You notice when you pretend to be okay. You begin to read your own emotional signals. And this is where real growth begins. Because awareness of others leads to awareness of self. You begin to understand why you react the way you do. Why certain words trigger you. Why certain situations make you uncomfortable. And when you see these patterns, you gain control. Not control over others, but control over yourself. And that is the deepest form of power. Now, pause for a moment and think about your own life. How many times have you misunderstood someone? And how many times have others misunderstood you? Most conflicts are not born from bad intentions. They are born from lack of understanding. People see actions, but they do not see emotions behind those actions. They hear words, but they do not hear the fear, the insecurity, or the pain hidden beneath them. Patrick King explains that when you learn to truly read people, something inside you changes. You stop reacting instantly. You stop taking everything personally. You stop assuming the worst. Instead, you begin to observe. You begin to see that every person carries an invisible story. Some people hide their pain behind confidence. Some hide their fear behind anger. Some hide their insecurity behind silence. And some hide their loneliness behind constant noise. When you recognize these emotional layers, your perspective softens. You realize that behavior is often a reflection of internal struggle, not external intention. You stop seeing people as problems. You begin seeing them as human. And this awareness transforms your relationships. You listen more carefully. You respond more thoughtfully. You become more patient. Because now, you are not just hearing words. You are understanding emotions. Patrick reminds us that reading people is not about gaining control over them. It is about gaining connection. It is about seeing beyond the surface. It is about recognizing emotional truth, even when it is unspoken. And something else begins to change too. You begin to trust yourself more. Your intuition becomes clearer. Your observations become sharper. Your reactions become calmer. You no longer feel confused by people's contradictions. You begin to understand them. You recognize when someone is nervous, even if they pretend confidence. You recognize when someone is hurting, even if they pretend strength. And most importantly, you recognize when someone is genuine. Because authenticity has its own signal. It feels calm. It feels consistent. It feels effortless. There is no tension between words and body. There is no performance. There is only truth. And once you learn to recognize this, you stop being easily deceived. You stop being easily manipulated. Not because you become suspicious, but because you become aware. And awareness brings peace. You no longer need to overthink every interaction. You no longer need constant reassurance. You simply observe, understand, and respond. And slowly, something deeper happens. You begin to understand yourself. You notice your own emotional signals. You notice when you feel uncomfortable. You notice when you hide your true feelings. And this awareness gives you freedom. Freedom from unconscious reactions. Freedom from emotional confusion. Freedom from misunderstanding yourself and others. Patrick King's message is not about turning you into a human lie detector. It is about turning you into a more aware, more present, more emotionally intelligent person. Because when you truly see people, you also begin to truly see yourself. And when you truly see yourself, you begin to live differently. You become calmer. You become wiser. You become more intentional. You stop moving through life blindly. You begin moving through life consciously. Every conversation becomes clearer. Every relationship becomes deeper. Every emotional signal becomes meaningful. And slowly, without force, without effort, you begin to understand the silent language of human behavior. The language that was always there, waiting to be seen. This is the journey of learning to read people. Not to judge them. Not to control them. But to understand them. And in that understanding, you discover something powerful. Clarity. And with clarity comes peace. This was the complete journey of Read People Like a Book by Patrick King. If this story helped you see people a little more clearly, then understand this: you are no longer just hearing people. You are beginning to understand them. And that changes everything. And now, before this journey comes to a close, take a quiet moment for yourself. Think about the people in your life. The conversations you've had. The moments you didn't fully understand at the time. Maybe now, you will begin to see them differently. Maybe now, you will notice the small signals. The pauses. The tone. The emotions hidden between words. Because once you learn this silent language, you never go back to seeing people the same way again. You don't just listen anymore. You observe. You understand. You connect. And slowly, you become more aware, not only of others, but of yourself. This was the complete journey of Read People Like a Book by Patrick King. If this story helped you understand people a little more deeply, and if you found value in this audiobook summary, then take a small moment to support the channel. Subscribe to the channel, so you don't miss the next journey. Like this video, so more people can discover these life-changing ideas. And share it with someone who might need to hear this today. Because sometimes, one idea, one realization, can quietly change the way someone sees the world. Thank you for being here.